All right, so we are at our stitching point. I did some burnishing on this side. That's where the card slides down into. So this is the outside, this is the inside, and now it's super thin. That way it's nice and smooth when the card first makes contact, and then the rest can be the soft stuff. So basically I have these two pieces. One's basically a little bit longer than the other, so the shorter one is the top piece. That's the first one we need to do, because what we're going to do here is we're going to do this part and then stitch this part, and then this part we're going to start stitching this part here. It's kind of hard to explain, but like we have the other piece here, and what we did was once those two pieces are stitched in place, then I started stitching here, and then I stopped, did the burnishing on this edge here. It's nice and smooth. And then once I was done, then I continued to attach it, because as you can see, there's a huge gap here for you to slide the cards or membership cards or anything else in there, in that little pocket. So it's just something I designed to make a little pocket. I could have looked up online how to do it, but I just kind of went on my own, and that probably is designed by other people too. So now we're going to do the stitching on this. So I'm going to grab my needles. So how you do this is you get two needles and you stitch them on the same thread all the way across. So how you want to measure your length is you want to do at least 3 times, if not 4 times the length of what you're stitching, because you're running that thread twice, so it's going to be using a lot more thread. So now I'm just going to poke one through here and then poke the second one through here. Not sure if you can see, the laptop screen is kind of far from where I am, and then you kind of like want to line it up into these holes here, one in each. Just have it go all the way through, and now that's sort of lined up, and you want to pull. Both pieces are going to be hidden, so it doesn't really matter how pretty it looks. So this is the back side, so this is like the ugly side, so to speak. So you want to twist over, use your finger to hold it in place, poke it right in there, in that hole, and then you just have to repeat that. So for the sake of the video, I'm just going to time lapse it from this point, and then we'll cut to doing the other side. I have this right here. You can see that's that loose. Well, it's not loose, it's tied in a knot, but eventually it'll unravel itself and get loose. So what I like to do is, I got this for like 15 bucks. I do have Threadripper. I have like Thread Zapper. It's actually called Threadripper. Is a server CPU made by AMD. I got a bunch of other options. I have lighter, a big lighter, but this is great because it's just a very sketchy, cheap soldering iron. And if you tap it a few times, if you hold it, it'll get hot. And then I use a fume extractor right here to extract all the fumes. Right now it's not powered on, so I should turn that on. And you can see how well you can hear me over this, and it's punch in so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just whittling it down to short length, and then I'm doing the same for this guy. Now it doesn't have to be super pretty, but basically I'm just going to hold it like this and just flat iron it like this and just rub it against it. So some of it has melted, but as long as it's flat like that, because it has to be smooth for any cards, because you're going to stuff like membership cards inside, so it has to be flat and smooth. I could do it for the rest of this. I do it while it's like still heated up, and I just go across and just heat up the wax and the thread, and then once it hardens, it's going to stay that way, stay tight. Now, I can do the same thing for this side. Just go across. I'm not applying any more heat, so it's cooling down, and I'm doing this and doing that, and then just rubbing it up against that, because that will harden it, and it'll make it nice and sturdy and strong, and any loose threads that there was on there would be all melted and fused as one. So it's really nice. And there you go. And then you use a little piece of metal like that came with the kit, just to keep it up. Right, because I'm going to be doing the same for all of these. And I'm going to show you what the other side is. I can still smell the fumes pretty good, so I'm going to leave that running for a little bit. But that's why I think these fume extractors, they work okay, but I don't think they're the best thing, because I can still smell the fumes. I think you're better off ventilating it outside. All right, so let's get the next part done. I just thought of this, but I want to show you how to do the threading, like the measuring part and stuff like that. So unfortunately, I try saving this stuff on the side, but I never get a chance to like use it at the right length, throw that away. I don't like wasting with having extra, but how you look at it is, if I have it too short, then all this has to be ripped out, and that's wasting more material than actually just cutting the length of material I have. So I usually do like 4 times the length. So that's 1, 2, this is the third, and that's the fourth. Use these to cut it. Cut it at an angle helps too. And then how you want to tie these, instead of doing like a knot and trying to figure out like how to feed it through the hole, because it might be a tight stitch hole, you just poke it right inside of itself, inside the thread. My finger's in the way, but it's poked through. Not sure if you can see that. Now you can see it better. And then you just run it down, and it's kind of looped like that, and then you just pull against the thread and then the needle the other direction. And what that does is it makes like this cool like little knot. And when you're done with it, you just snip here and just pull out the other end, and it'll unravel. And then you do the same thing for the other needle. You just run it through. And then you want to give a little bit, because that will fray at the end. So you want to do like a little bit further down, and then loop it through. Once it's through, just pull it, and then that's the extra wax and stuff. So that way it's nice and tight, and it's nice and thin, so it goes right through. So now the next piece we have to set up is this one right here. So I try to keep it consistent. I started here and I worked my way here, so I'm going to do the same on this one. Just line that up, and then we just got to line up 2 of these. So what I like to do is poke the holes in these. You'll get confident and know what you're doing, where I could put my finger where I probably shouldn't for beginners. So do what you're comfortable with. Line up these holes right here, right there, and I'm going to put this on the stitching pony, and then we'll go from there. So now I'm going to show you the other way of the same stitch, but doing it from the other side. So this will be the pretty side, I like to call it. So the pretty side, you want both needles going that direction. And now, as you can see, there's a lot of like movement there. So I have to move it in position where it's going to be closer to the clamping. So there's less flexing and stuff while I'm doing this. It's still going to flex. Like I said before, behind I do this over. I poke to the farthest one, so that lined it up. And then basically I just took like that. That kind of sets it, and then back over here, our thread, and then go over through the same hole, and then repeat, and then we'll just time lapse this. This is not going to be pretty, so I'm not going to work on how nice these look, because it's all going to be covered. Alright, so I got all the pieces together, just lined up. Use this to clamp it together, and then we're just gonna be a really long string, because it has to do this twice all the way around. So this is the tricky part, is getting this, and then you have to stop at a certain point because it has to attach to the main piece, and then at that point I have to do the shaving down the sides and stuff, which okay, now I got that all stitched, looking not too bad. I will continue doing the rest of this, but I have to shave this down and do all the sides. So I'm going to get that prepped for that. Okay, you're probably wondering what this is. This is my sort of DIY sanding / fume extractor box. Right now it's not a fume extractor box because I don't have a hose hooked up to go outside. So it's not good for doing fumes and stuff, but it's great for maintaining dust. So how it works is it's basically a mushroom still air box. Things I can zip it open, I can move it out of the way, I can put it away. So basically I put the product in there, grab my trusty little sander that doesn't have the right bit because I wasn't prepared for this very moment. I gotta switch it from your mother's attachment. So I want to talk about this a little bit more. Right above there is my old extractor fan that I was trying to troubleshoot with setting up for something. But on the other side of this is the fan, and this is the wire to power it. I basically just used that blowtorch thing I showed earlier, just melted it and just popped it in, so it's pretty tight. And it has a filter on there, so it's like a PC filter to prevent any crap from getting in, but it looks like the fine stuff is still getting in there. Which I could get a finer filter, but that gets clogged, so I might just take out the filter and just basically set it up in a way where it just vents outside. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this. I have a good light right now, but usually I put a light inside of here, but see how it's tightly around there. And then what I like to do is turn on the fan. I'm just going to shave this part down. Not sure you can see on the camera, but there's a lot of dust right now. I like these templates because it keeps me like the guide going and I don't have to worry about like destroying it and stuff like that. So it's keeping this nice and flat for me to get this down to the right length. I gotta be very careful not to get the thread because then I would have to start over the stitch and I don't want to do that. But I do want to shave some of the cardboard down as well, because it's not like the end point. I just want to shave it nice and smooth. This beats it doing it by hand because I can't get that uniform back and forth. But I can do it by hand if I wanted to. Now I'm going to be careful and just make it go the other way. And I'm going to use my finger and carefully do the edging. Sander will catch. And I had that happen a few times. So I already did that side. I'm going to move this clip here and then keep going. I want to use my finger or thumb, wherever is more convenient, and just shave it down. Try not to get the grain side like this. I try to get it like this. That way I get it all evenly. This piece is not secure, so I gotta be careful. So I'm gonna move this like this. That way that piece is secure and it doesn't move around too much. I don't want to shave too much because I still have the stitching holes. While I'm at it, I could trim my fingernails. Yeah, I probably shouldn't do that. That's going to make it sharp. Actually, I don't think it will. Now, I like it doing this shaving part because it gets it nice and raw and it's perfect for doing my burnishing right after this. But you might not see it, but there's a lot of dust inside this box, and that's why I did, because I didn't want this crap over the shop. I tried using a shop vac right here, sucking it in. It just doesn't work the same. Better to just have a complete trap, and the only intake is these sleeve things I'm wearing. There's another, you can get like a dust box, but I don't like the hard acrylic. Plus, this is going to be more room to work with. All right, so now I'm going to move this here and just get this side done. The part is kind of uneven, so I might have to dig a little bit more. This side's important because it's kind of like the outside of the fold, so you're going to see that side a little bit. It's going to be tricky because it's bent from punching holes into this cardboard, but I am going to go ahead and just do it lightly because I don't need to do too much on that edge. Scratch the skin a little bit, that's okay. Just kind of looking at the camera light, shining through there, just seeing what's going on. By the way, for my European peeps, the basement is 17 degrees. It's nice and toasty down here, Celsius. Okay. So now I brush off my hands and I do the next step, which is basically get the burnishing ready and get ready to burnish the sides here, because that looks really nice. And I just put one on this side. Not too bad. Now these sides I can't really burnish right now. I have to do it once it's attached. But once it's attached, then it's going to look really nice because I'll be able to go through everything and make it nice and pretty. All right, so while we have this box here, I'm going to do it in here. Actually, I could do outside. I just have to clean up a little bit and then we'll be back. Got some clear burnishing gum. I said that almost backwards, but basically we get your tool choice. Found this in your mother's closet. And then basically what I do is I apply it here, wait for it to dry a little bit till it's like tacky. And then I apply this on. So you just apply a little bit. I use my finger, it's just easier. And then I try not to get on that side, but I usually do. That's how it goes. And let me just punch in. And I'll try to keep this in focus. Oh look, I just got some on there. Oh well. It's called patina. I'm supposed to get on this side, but I fat fingered it and got all over the place. Then you just rub it in there. Keep applying it. I'm looking at the camera trying to see where, if I'm in the shot or not. I'm struggling with doing two things at once. And I'm just going to get that. So it's going to darken all the edges here, which is what the customer wants because they want this to be dark brown. It's already dark brown, it's chocolate, but now it's going to be dark on the edges, which is fine. Do that area, it looks pretty good. I'll just lightly tap that and then add a little bit more. And then put some on the inside too, because the cards are going to be sliding in on this side. So I want it to be nice and smooth. I don't want it to catch anything when it comes in. And we'll just do that. That looks good. Now I didn't apply any heat to this part of the stitching because that's kind of like when I'm doing the burnishing, it adds some friction. Now I'm going to clean my finger, I'm going to wash it, and then I'll come right back to this. Alright, so now we do the burnishing part on this. So basically that's a pretty low setting. I do this wider bit here and I just go along. Now I'm applying pressure on this side of it. That way it has a nice rounded edge here. And I just go back and forth. And the stitching helps keep it all together so I can hold it in place and just go back and forth and keep going. Now that spot is a little bit light, so I might just hit with this and then go back. But it looks like it needs some more gum right there. That way it's all uniform. I just lightly tap it. right there, just rub it in. Can't see what I'm doing. Man, this camera focus sucks. But I think it's okay now. And then now it's on there. And I do a thinner one. And then I increase the speed because I really want more friction here. Now I can smell it, so that's a good sign. That means the friction is working, doing its thing. And I do the thinner one on the top because it gets thinner at the top here. As you can see, it's nice and smooth, and I just go back and forth and just work it out. And as you can see, it caught right there, so we don't want that. This is where I use the cardboard just to keep it in line. And just take a look at it. It looks really good. I'm really happy with that. You can tell by the shine. I don't know if it's in focus. It looks out of focus to me for the camera, but now I can work on this a little bit. So I'm just going to apply a goopiest amount. Yeah, rub that goop on there. Yeah, boy. And then let's get that rubbed in there. This will also, because it's kind of like it's a bonding agent, sort of. Product description. Thank you for choosing. Okay, don't care. Premium formula that penetration fibers deeply, enriches natural with natural edge. Blah blah blah. Okay, all you need to know is deeply and penetrates. That's all you need to know about this stuff. And you can't even see what I'm doing with my finger over here. All right, I have less finger control, so I'm gonna wash this real quick so I can go back. It's baby smooth. You can't tell, but it's so smooth. That's what we want, with that smooth finish. Now it looks uneven, but that's just how the flesh side is. And some gum has more penetration over here than there, but it's super smooth to the touch. That's really nice. And it's really nice on this edge, so I did a really good job of shaving it properly. But it's going to be tricky adding that burnishing, so I might do that after. But I might just burnish the inside here just for now, and then get that all squared away. Now I'm thinking about this. This might make stitching it harder because I'm bonding it on the bottom here where the stitching holes are. So this might be a problem. But that's future me problem, which means me in 5 minutes cursing myself for doing this. Alright, I'm at the point where I'm ready to call it a day. My device battery is beeping at me, and I just finished stitching all that, so it's kind of complicated, but basically it's a straightforward design. It's the same stitch all the way around. It's continuous from doing this side all the way down. One regret I have is doing this first. I should have done that last, along with the outside. And some of these pieces, the thing has cut through, so I might have to do glue just to reinforce it. But it's get this all figured out. So I want near the Stratter fan. So like when this heats up, it'll be all the fumes will go away. And just kind of just cut this like that. I'll put that stuff away another time, and then I'm just gonna heat this up and then start the Stratter fan. Alright, that's the end of the video. I'm tired. I'll see you next time.